Her presentation is entitled Female Ordination in Vajrayana Mahavihara, and she is joined here by Urmila Tamrakar Manandar. Please give her a warm welcome.
सर्वबुद्धं नमस्सामि धर्मञ्च जीनभासित संगञ्च शीलसम्पन्नं रत्नत्रयं नमस्तुते. I am feeling very honored and to be standing in front of you all with such delegates and venerated bhikkhu, bhikkhunis, vandana to all of you and great scholars and doctors. So my name is Ursula Manandar and I am a representative of Sakyadhita, Nepal and Traditional Buddhist Association. So I want to thank Sakyadhita International for giving us this platform to be able to introduce such a historic, ritualistic moment procession that happened in Nepal in 2021. And the topic of my presentation is Female Ordination in Vajrayana Mahavihara. So before I start, I want to introduce you to, Urmila Tamrakar and Manandar. So she's my mother and also a co-writer of this paper that I'm presenting. So thank you, Mama, for your guidance. Now I want to start by introducing Nepal, not just as the country of where the land of Buddha, where Buddha was born, but also as the place where there is an amalgamation of all three Buddhist schools, the Theravada, Vajrayana and Mahayana. So the three traditions are prevailing equally in Nepal. So the Vajrayana Buddhism basically is, so I'm just skipping few of the slides ahead because yes. So Vajrayana Buddhism is about Tantra, Mantra and Sadhana, the yoga, the Kriya, Charya Yoga and Anuttara Yoga Tantra sadhanas. So it is also known as the shortcut method or the skillful method where we follow the teachings of Buddhas through Tantra, Mantra and Sadhana and reach enlightenment. And the Vajrayana Buddhism is, in Nepal, is prevalent to local community called Newar. And it is a tradition that has been existing since ancient times, and it is also the tradition that has kept alive Nepali Buddhism. And it is still in practice today, and I'm very proud to be presenting here about it. So this presentation is about female ordination. So why was this historic? So it is not about, it is not just about bhikkhunis, but female households, so grihastha. So they are not just like anagarikas or shramnis or rishinis, but they are the household nuns or bhikkhunis that are ordinated, and they are still living in their respective households, practicing bodhicharya or bodhisattva practice. So this is the concept of Vajrayana tradition of Nepal, and so they are practicing it right now as called as the Catuparisad. You can see in the presentation here. The concept of Catuparisad was existed since 3rd to 4th century, and it consists of Guruzu, the monk, Gurumazu, the priestess or female monk, Upasaka, the male lay person, and Upasika, the female lay person. So according to Buddha, these four components are very crucial in carrying out any kinds of Buddhist dispensation. It symbolized the four wheels of the chariot that carries the Buddhism. And this was prevalent in different eras of Nepal, like Malla, Lichavi, and other kingdoms. Now, I want to talk to you about the practice of household monks. So in the context described, the local terminology for the household monk is Guruju. And for the males, they're called Guruju, and the females Gurumaja. So they are like the counterpart of each other, and they must be present. Both of the male and female must be present while carrying out any kinds of rituals. But in the past, only the male members got this initiation rites, also divided by castes such as Bajracharyas and Sakyas, and the members of different communities other than these castes were not allowed to be ordained, and they were not allowed to be participated in these kinds of gatherings and Sangha meetings. The male members go through the ritual called Bare Thoigu and Ataruegu. So this is the initiation process. And then they receive the title of Grihastha Bodhisattva Bhikshus. Now, although, so this practice of the Catuparisad that I talked about existed harmoniously in the ancient time. In some eras, in between the reign of different kings, these became very discriminatory at some point. And even though females or Gurumajus were placed alongside Gurujus and monks, they were not treated equally, or the rights were few rights were discriminatory. The 5 Gurumajus were valued, and they were a part of the community, and they could enter in the sacred shrine called Agam, but however there were some biases and there were some restrictions. So they could not enter the main shrine called Kwapadya, where mostly the Akshave Buddha resided. And as a result, even though the Catuparisad were practiced, it was not fully implemented. And the women in these Vajrayana traditions, they got very subtle but very unexpected discriminations. So you can see the picture here. So this is the Vajrayana Mahavihara. So it is situated in Lumbini. It was very newly established, but it challenged this discriminatory practice, and it wanted to abolish the concept of ordinating only male members of the particular community. And here was the ritual conducted of including females of different castes other than the Sakya and Vajracharyas, and also they were the male members of the various castes were also ordinated. So this was under the guidance of Professor Dr. Naresh Man Bajracharya. And these individuals, the candidates, were appointed as Bodhisattva Bhikkhus and Bodhisattva Bhikkhunis. So the aim was to promote inclusivity and overcome the limitation and barriers by gender and caste discrimination. And I want to start talking about the female ordination process and how it happened. So the main part was to give the go sign and the okay sign from the senior-most bhikkhuni. So here in Nepal we have Dhamavati Guruma, or Honorable Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhamavati, who said that it was okay to be ordained for the females, and she was the one who initiated the shaving of hair of these elected candidates. And on March 24th, 2021, there was the revival of the historical moment of establishing the Bhikshuni Sangha. So you can see here, she is our Honorable Dhamavati Bhikkhuni, and so the female candidate here is presenting Gwe Dan. So that is an offering given to the senior most ordained Bhikkhuni for Nepal, and the offering consists of a few betel nuts, rice, money, and clay pot, kisli. So she and the other members who were elected as the candidate were given. They gave the offering to the senior most Bhikkhuni, and she blessed them for carrying out the initiation process. You can see there's a very slight photo there, but all the offerings that it kept in a very simple but very profound way. And so the offerings were not just made for the senior-most priestess or bhikkhuni, but also the priest who will conduct and who will ordinate the whole entire process. So the Professor Dr. Naresh Man Bajracharya as well. And this was conducted in Dharmakirti Bihar, located in another one of the Vajrayana Bihar, which is called as Sri Santi Ghatta Vajrayana Mahavihara, or Shiva. It is a local language. And so the Vedan process, and then after that, the heads of the candidates were shaved. And I remember, on the rightmost photograph is my mother, and I remember her saying that, she feeling very overwhelmed and lightweight after shaving off her hair, and I was very much happy for her. And then after the shaving of head, so they were given the chibara and the robes, replacing their previous attires. And the next process of the initiation was to take the vow of Dasashila, the 10 percepts, and they were given the bhikkhuni names. So the names also were a part of the 10 percepts themselves. So the dana, perfection of generosity; shila, the perfection of moral conduct. So similarly that goes on. So dana, shila, chanti, virya, and dhyana. So all these names were given to the ordinated bhikkhunis. And after that, the ceremony, they were transferred to the Vajrayana Bihar in Lumbini. So that happened on March 28, 2021. And the chief abbot, known as Catuparisad in the Vajrayana Mahavihara, he performed a ritual called Lakhan Rikiru, which involved the ceremonial shower for purity and good luck. So these rituals also conducted the continuation of the ordination process. So in this photograph, you can see the main priestess actually offering pinda patra. So in her hand, there is a long stub with a small saitya or stupa on the top. So that is called pinda patra and sisalaku for each candidate, and that symbolized their support and guidance for their spiritual journey. And this was a very powerful and a significant moment of the entire ordination process. And this photograph is also of my mother being ordinated. And as a daughter, I'm very proud and I'm very delighted to be able to talk to you on behalf of her. So she is wearing a wooden sandal and walking 7 steps, signifying, the 7 steps that Buddha took during the birth and his path to enlightenment. And the candidate is being taken with the parasol called chhatra, and with all the rituals and musical instruments, and she is being led inside the main sanctum called Kwapadya. And this was a very powerful and very notable historical moment, because before that no female priestess or bhikkhunis were allowed inside the Kwapadya. And the last part of the ordination process, the whole ordained bhikkhunis, they visited the city of Bhairava and Lumbini Buddhist University as well, and all of the general members and local community, they came together and they gave alms donation to the ordained bhikkhunis and offer different kinds of contribution in honor of this meritorious act. And finally, as a concluding ceremony, all the candidates were taken to Swayambhu Mahastupa. So Swayambhu Mahastupa on 31st March 2021, and they again offered the kisli to the Swayambhu Amitabha Buddha and then only they were considered as the part of the Sangha member. Now after that process, all of the candidates, all of the participants were considered as female Sangha in Nepal Vajrayana tradition. And they also headed to the presidential house. So this is the former president, Mrs. Vidya Devi Bhandari of Nepal. So she represented the head of the country back then, and she also generously and graciously offered them alms donations and other kinds of donations to offer her support for this historical moment. So this gesture reaffirmed the cultural and spiritual significance of the ceremony, adapting it to the democratic framework of the country as well. So this is the last slide, and I want to conclude by saying that the female ordination ceremony in Nepal was a momentous and historical event that aimed to unify the Buddhist practices and embody the teaching of Buddhism. The revival of the household bhikkhu and bhikkhuni tradition is seen as the restoration of one of the most essential practice of Catuparisad. Through the induction of female ordination in Vajrayana Mahavihara, the Catuparisad practice was believed to be complete again. And this ordination served as amalgamation of the two oldest and ancient Buddhist traditions in the Kathmandu Valley, known as the Theravada Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism. Bhikkhuni Dhammavati Guruma wholeheartedly embraced the ritual that this was a part of an ancient tradition, and she expressed her joy initiating this ritual. And I remember her saying that Ek hi yan, which means there is one yana, there is no Theravada, there is no Mahayana, and there is no Vajrayana. We are all disciples of Buddha and we follow Buddhism wholeheartedly. And this ritual will never have completed if it was not with the guidance of Professor Dr. Naresh Man Bajracharya, who had the instrumental and significant role in not just performing this ritualistic act, but also as documentation for the later future generation as well. And not just that, the ceremony actually challenged the orthodox practices of the Vajrayana traditions, and it supported inclusivity in Nepal, including individuals from mixed caste as well as female members of the community. While it sparked different controversies among some Buddhist practitioners, many well-learned and scholars, they fully appreciated and supported this inclusive initiation. And the event was meticulously carried out with adhering to all the necessary steps that symbolize the revival of the most ancient traditions of Nepal. And the ordination ceremony exemplified the principles of inclusiveness, non-discrimination, and unification of all the individuals who strive to practice Bodhisattva Charya, the Bodhisattva practice. It stands as a significant milestone in the journey of Buddhism in Nepal, promoting gender equality and breaking the barrier of monastic community as well. So, thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that very interesting and informative presentation on another historic event. So, kamsahamnida. I don't know how to say thank you in Nepali. Dhanyawad. Our next speaker is also going to be speaking about some historic events happening in terms of the Bhikkhuni ordination.